Yes, Albion fans, hello everyone and welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're going to be doing your bold opinions that you sent in over Instagram and on Twitter as well. So obviously at the time of meaning to record this, I did it on Instagram, but then Instagram went down for like a whole day, so I basically couldn't use it. So I put it out on Twitter as well. I try and get through as many of the Twitter ones as possible, but we've literally got like over 100 sent in on Instagram, which is nuts. So if you did send them in, thank you very much. But yeah, I'll try and get through as many as I possibly can, not making any promises though, because if we have time, I'll get to Twitter. But yeah, we'll see. But obviously, it's the international break now. Albion are flying. We're currently, I think we're 6th in the league, aren't we, right now? And I saw on the Premier League, you can put the tweet up here, the Premier League actually tweeted, including us, in the title race. If you go to the Premier League website, you can literally vote for us to win the title. So if you haven't done that, I'd recommend getting on it. Because could you imagine if like we actually took over the polls to potentially win the league? So if you're not even a Brighton fan, watch this. Vote for us, because
second half of the season, we're doing a title charge.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start with Instagram, I think, because Twitter's a bit more bitey in it. Let's be honest. So we're gonna start with Insta. Shane Duffy's return is the best story of 2021 by a mile. I'll tell you what, I put an appreciation tweet on for Shane Duffy the other day because it is not easy to come back into a Premier League side, obviously having struggled out in Scotland for so long. Obviously quite a few things went on off the pitch as well and all that sort of stuff, you know. So obviously we're always Shane on that. But yeah, to come back into, you know, Potter's system where he didn't really fit in particularly, you know, he didn't have the characteristics to really work with Potter's system, but he's come in and completely bossed it, to be honest. And you look at the Arsenal game in particular, he was everywhere, genuinely everywhere, and we could not have said that about a Shane Duffy, you know, even keeping up with Aubameyang and putting in that crunching challenge towards the end of the first half, I think. Seriously though, very impressive Shane Duffy. Appreciation 100%. I think one of the best stories, comeback stories in football, to be honest. To come back, as I say, into a side like ours where we've been playing so well, obviously losing out to Ben White for £50 million to Arsenal. To fill that sort of gap, he's done a really, really good job. And obviously I think a lot of that praise does also go to the likes of Lewis Dunk as well. Obviously Ben White did comment onto how good Lewis Dunk is as sort of like a partner, you know, how well he made him play. So, you know, obviously Webster getting injured as well. He's had it tough, and he's Shane Duffy, but he's come back and had a really, really good season so far. So long may it continue, hopefully. Okay, so we've actually played worse than last year so far. Now this one got sent in on Twitter as well. So obviously Klopp Shop sent that one in. I don't know who sent it in on Twitter, but you'd be spot on to say that. Genuinely, this season, we haven't played that well, to be honest with you. I put barring probably 2 or 3 games. I can think of Watford and I can think of Arsenal where we really, you know, dominated and, you know, put the pressure on. But the rest of the games, I'm thinking Brentford, I'm thinking Crystal Palace and Leicester as well. You know, that's 3 games there where we didn't deserve anything and yet come away with 7 points. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this on the podcast as well. So yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I'm happy. I'm happy if we could play worse but win games and get more results. I mean, look at us, we're being mentioned in title charges right now. I mean, obviously that's probably not going to continue much longer, but long may it continue, you know. Alright, I like this one a lot. Not really bold, but Mopé is severely underrated. Best goal conversion rate in the league. Now, the goal conversion rate thing we'll talk about in a minute, but the fact that Mopé is underrated, I like a lot. Because obviously if you've followed me for a while, you know that I've always backed Mopé, even when he's missing sitters and open goals. I've always backed Neil because I've always seen something in him to make me want to back him, you know. And I think with Mopé, he's always done so well in the games. And okay, last season was a bit of a struggle for him. I think on and off the pitch he struggled a lot. And I think the same can really be said for a lot of our players. You know, it was a bit of an anomaly year. We had a lot of bad luck riding on it. And I think, you know, considering how well we played, it was almost one of those head scratchers really as to, you know, what can we do to actually start winning games. And I definitely think that's a big part of Mopé's rise this season, obviously coming into the fans again. Obviously we're all back in the grounds. You've got that feedback now, and I think Mopé thrives off that. He thrives off having an atmosphere, of people hating him and of people loving him as well. I think he's definitely thrived better since fans have been back in the grounds, and obviously we've been playing perhaps more conventional football with lesser chances, but Mopé's been taking them this year, and for whatever reason, whatever he's been doing differently in training as well, is definitely working. Someone tweeted that LALLANA shouldn't start, I think, was what they tweeted. They've obviously deleted it. They probably got a lot of backlash. I don't remember the @ so I'm not going to start calling you out or giving you abuse or anything. But if you honestly think that LALLANA doesn't deserve to start, I'm sorry, mate, but he's literally been so significant amongst our squad, amongst even in the 11, off the pitch, on the pitch. I think he's a class act everywhere. There's plenty of stories about him. If you were to ask most people in and around the club, I think they'll only ever tell you good stories about Adam LALLANA, what he's like as a person, and as well what he's like as a player. I mean, anyone can see his class, anyone can see his quality. Very, very rarely puts a bad foot wrong. You can't really say that LALLANA's had many bad games for us. I think on a limited perspective, LALLANA's had bad games for us. So yeah, I really, really don't understand people giving LALLANA stick, because okay, maybe against Palace he wasn't all that. He had a few moments, but overall, LALLANA's a class act, and I really, really don't understand the slander. Why'd you let it bounce? Ned, roll that clip, mate.
Why'd you let it bounce?
Alright, so I said to go bold. Best squad we've ever had. Oh, do you know what? I think quality-wise, you're probably right. I mean, the likes of Mark Cucurella, who's obviously been signed, Adam LALLANA, Lewis Dunk, Yves Bissouma, Alexis McAllister, Jakob Moder. I think the list sort of goes on in terms of quality that we've got now. So I'd agree. I think in terms of quality-wise, yeah, I think we have got probably the best squad, particularly in my lifetime, that I can think of. Because obviously we'll always go back to the glory days of the Championship where we got promoted and we had the likes of Knockaert and Hemed, etc. But reality says they're not as good as the players we've got now. Obviously Trossard as well, playing in the Belgium squad. We've got Sanchez called up for the Spanish squad. Our literal whole team pretty much are internationals apart from Lewis Dunk for some stupid reason. Southgate, what are you doing, mate?
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't hurt me. Sorry.
Sorry, I know we had a good Euros. I probably shouldn't have said that. Obviously, I wasn't alive to see the 80s and all that sort of thing, so I'm definitely going to get stick from Pete, who went to the Goldstone one day. But yeah, sorry about that, mate. Sanchez, top 5 goalkeepers in the Premier League. Mate, that's bold. That is bold. To be fair, I asked bold opinions, and that has got to be a bold opinion. Top 5 goalkeepers in the Premier League. No, he's not top 5, but he's definitely, he's got the potential to be up there, I mean, he's 23 years old, he's obviously had that astronomical rise from being in Rochdale, from being in Forest Green, and now obviously coming into the Premier League, and to have the impact that he's had, particularly on our back line. Obviously, you look back to sort of when we had Matty Ryan, and I'm not going to go calling out Matty Ryan because obviously we've talked about him before, but since Sanchez has come in, we've been significantly better. Defensively, I think we had the 2nd best defence in the league last season as of 2021, and the 6th best defence in the league in the whole season. I think I'm getting that right, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the Sanchez effect is real. He's had 8 clean sheets in 2021 as well, off the top of my head. It's impressive. It's very, very impressive. Obviously, he's been called up to the Spanish squad, as I mentioned. And he's overtaken the likes of like Vicente Guaita, obviously, who plays for Crystal Palace, who most would probably deem as a very, very good goalkeeper. He's been in with the likes of David De Gea and in with the likes of Unai Simon, who are 2 very, very solid goalkeepers. So, and obviously De Gea has been probably one of the best of my generation. So it's incredible to see him in and around that, and obviously impressing so well in training. I think you may have seen the clip. Yeah, he's definitely got the quality to get up there, but definitely not yet to say top 5 goalkeepers. I think that's quite bold. Okay, Liam, we're going to win the Prem. Dunk has been bang average so far. For some reason, that was a bit of a tongue twist. I was messing it up like 2 or 3 times. No, I don't think he's been bang average. I mean, what do you expect from Lewis Dunk? He's a centre-back who's our captain. I don't know, what do you want him to do? Do you want him to go on 90-yard runs? Probably not. Do you want him to ping balls? He does that anyway. He tackles well, he uses his chest well, he uses his head well, organises defence well, wins headers in the box well. I don't really know what more you'd want from Lewis Dunk this season. Okay, he does normally start quite slowly. Notoriously, he always seems to do that, but always grows into it throughout the season. I think if you remember last season particularly, Lewis Dunk had a bit of a shaky start. Not bad, but shaky. Had a few things, he sort of gave the ball away a couple of times, but yeah, I think as a centre-back you're always going to notice the mistakes more, and goalkeepers as well. If a goalkeeper makes a mistake, everyone's going to remember it, and they won't remember the 3 saves they pulled off before that, and I think that's the harsh life of being a defender or being a goalkeeper. So yeah, I don't think Dunk's really made many mistakes that I can think of, particularly leading to goals in I don't even know how long, but yeah, I'd say maybe he started a little bit shakier, but he's definitely got back into it, so I wouldn't say he's been bang average, certainly not. Alzate is very average, needs a season on loan. I agree he needs on loan, but I do not agree he's very average. I mean, you saw how he came in 1920, Potter called him up from the under-23s, was genuinely one of the most consistent performers, and I think the trouble, as I talked about defenders and I talked about goalkeepers making mistakes, we'll talk about centre midfielders, and they'll do the most basic job, and the first person that comes to mind here is Dale Stephens, right? Dale Stephens did the basics so well. Probably in the last couple of seasons he was, giving the ball away a bit too much and probably was a bit past it, but I think overall Alzate is included in this, does the basics so well. Okay, he came into Crystal Palace and yeah, I think it was a bit of an occasion for him. It could clearly got the better of him. Obviously got injured. I think he's going to be out for a few months now, so hopefully he gets better soon. But I think overall, Alzate does everything you need him to do. He's not a midfielder that's going to be like Bissouma, who takes players on. He's not going to drive the ball forward like Bissouma can, or like even Jakub Moder can, but at the same time he's going to break up play, he's going to do the simple passes, he's going to be able to pass sideways and backwards and the occasional forward passes as well. He's going to go on a few runs, has a decent shot on him, but I don't think there's anything that suggests that he's very average, apart from the fact you obviously don't know about centre midfielders. I think if you know how centre midfielders play, to be very average means you've had a good game, and that's how I always stand by it. So I'm going to go over to Twitter now, because Instagram is literally just people either saying we're going to get Europe, that I think Duffy's better than Van Dijk, I think I saw that Mopé's better than Ronaldo. I think we're done with Instagram. I'm going to go over to Twitter now, and Tony, Trossard has elevated his game to the next level. I agree, completely agree. Since Trossard's had this season where he's probably not playing so much on the left and sort of coming inside, coming deeper, as I've said, I think I've mentioned this before as well, Trossard's definitely elevated his game to the next level. He's more consistent, which I think was a big factor in last season's disappointment in him. We say consistency, I think to be fair, Match of the Day had it nailed on when they said that Trossard is consistent, but consistently average in the output he's had. I think he's had 5 goals in the last 2 seasons, but at the same time, he seems to got a lot more to his game now. I think maybe since going to Belgium, seems to have a lot more experience, seems to link up with players a lot better. As I say, when he comes back in deeper and seems to be able to do all that sort of stuff now, and it's something that we could see in Leandro Trossard. I think everyone's known his quality, particularly, I always go back to it, that West Ham game, the first time that he ever signed for us, and everyone was a bit like, wow, this guy has the quality about him. It was just a matter of seeing it a little bit more. But yeah, I definitely agree. He's definitely elevated his game to the next level. Got a lot more qualities about him, and he's only getting better. I think. I don't think he's had a bad game this season, and that isn't something we could have said for Leandro Trossard last season, particularly 7 games on the bounce. It's quite impressive, and yeah, he's probably been one of our best players alongside Bissouma and Shane Duffy for me this season, for sure. I take Veltman over Webster. Don't slander me, please. Now, Cam literally responded, consider yourself slandered. Ratioed him completely. Ned, mate, enjoy this. Just literally put any meme you want. Slander menace, because he is a menace for saying that.
You're a donut. You're so stupid. You're so stupid. You're stupid.
Okay, so Jack Albion said, every game in which Alexis McAllister has come on as a sub, he's been our most dangerous player. I agree. I really like Alexis McAllister. I think, as you probably know on Twitter, I do big him up quite a lot. I see a lot of quality in him. He's very young. I think we forget how young he is. I think he's only 22. So, God, he's only 2 years above me. God. But yeah, Alexis McAllister, I think he's got a lot of quality about him. You can tell. You can tell when a player's got it about him. I think equally with Jakub Moder. Very high quality players, very young players who've been doing it at a high level. Obviously he was at Boca Juniors, Jakub Moder's obviously been representing Poland and now coming over here as well and doing well, scoring and assisting pretty much against England as well. I think it may have been a pre-assist, but whatever. Both quality, and it goes to show again the depth in which our squad has now. And I think as well, another one that I didn't mention on the Instagram saying about the strength in depth that we probably don't have if we were to push for Europe. I disagree. I think genuinely our depth is very strong. I mean, you're not even taking into consideration some of the players out on loan right now. Obviously, we signed Abdullah Sima. We've loaned out the likes of Moises Caicedo, etc. I'm not even going to go into our loaned out players because it just goes on. Coming over to a new country and obviously learning the culture, the language, settling in here, all of that you've got to consider. Alexis McAllister, I reckon by the time he's Basuma's age, 25 years old, we could be seeing probably one of our most significant players, and it feels like he's had a bit of a breakout this season anyway, but definitely think he's going to be one of our most important players, particularly in the next few years. Same applies for Jakub Moder as well, genuinely. I think they're both class. Final one then, Cucurella is up for player of the season. I agree. I think he could be, because since he's come in, he's been quality. You can tell, as I said before, you can tell when a player's got it about them to be different class. And I think every time that Cucurella's played, he's been different class. And it's the same sort of feel when you watch Adam Lallana for the first time. You know, he's a bit of a class above. He looks different to everyone else. You know, he plays, he can see things that people don't. I think Cucurella is definitely one of those that has it about them. You know, you can tell when they're just better than everyone else. They've got that vision. He wins every challenge pretty much that he puts in, and I think every game that he's played, he's been one of the best players on the pitch, and it doesn't really look like changing, you know. And I think the same can be said with Tariq Lamptey. When he comes back on either side, we've got two consistently very, very, very good wing backs who can also come into midfield as well and obviously push a lot higher up. Chance creation wise, we're going to be looking pretty good with those two coming back. So yeah, I agree. Cucurella for player of the season. Obviously it's very early in, but yeah, I think he's got it about him to be one of those consistent performers. There's no doubts in my mind as to how well he, you know, consistently performs, but probably more of a worry as to how long we keep hold of him for. But I suppose we'll see how that goes. I want to finish on this one just because it's Mopé again. I doubted Mopé and he's elite. Sorry. Roll that clip.
You all laughed at me. Well, I have to say, you're not laughing now, are you?
Right, that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Obviously, I tried to get through as many as possible, but literally there was so many. I think there was like at least 150 to get through. So I got through as many as I possibly could. Thank you all for watching. As I say, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and obviously turn on that notification bell as well, because as a small YouTuber, I'm always going to be at the bottom of your sub boxes. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye. No, I look tiny, man. I look tiny. I've got to put that closer. I look small. I'm living up to the stereotype out here. Oh, God, if you put that in, I'm going to look like Maz. Right.